What if I told you the price of a luxury supercar, a $1 million house, or a life of financial freedom could be hiding inside something smaller than your fingernail? Not gold bars, not diamonds, not cryptocurrency, just 4 old pennies. Coins so ignored, so worn, so ordinary looking, that 99% of people would spend them without a second thought. But collectors know a different truth, because history doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. These coins were born in moments when America was changing forever. Before wars, after depressions, at the end of eras. One comes from a time when survival mattered more than saving. One was minted when hope was slowly returning. One hides power behind a tiny detail most people miss. And one represents the final breath of a legendary design. Today, we're uncovering how these forgotten pennies, found in jars, drawers, and old collections, have quietly turned pocket change into 4-figure, 5-figure, and even life-changing money. If you've ever touched an old penny, if you've ever seen one lying forgotten somewhere, you might already be closer to wealth than you think. So don't blink, don't skip, and watch carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at an old penny the same way again. Coin number 1, 1919 Wheat Penny, a post-war coin that quietly entered the collector spotlight. Some coins are born during chaos. Others are born in the silence after chaos ends. The 1919 Wheat Penny belongs to that silence. World War I had just ended. The fighting was over. The celebrations had faded, and America was left to rebuild, quietly, carefully, one small step at a time. In that moment, a simple copper penny entered circulation. No one noticed it. No one saved it. No one imagined it would ever matter. Yet today, this unassuming penny has become a key historical piece for collectors. A survivor from a fragile moment, when the world was trying to breathe again. This is not just a penny. It is a bridge between war and peace. America in 1919, a world trying to reset. The year 1919 was unlike any other. Millions of soldiers were returning home. Industries were shifting from war production to civilian life. Inflation was rising. Jobs were uncertain. Every cent mattered. Pennies were used relentlessly. Streetcars, newspapers, food counters, factory change. Coins moved fast. They did not rest in drawers or albums. They worked. That reality explains why original 1919 wheat pennies are far harder to find than their mintage numbers suggest. Coin production after war. The U.S. Mint faced enormous pressure in 1919. Demand for coinage was high. Equipment was heavily used. Speed mattered more than perfection. Quality control suffered. Coins were struck quickly and released immediately into circulation. The result? Most 1919 wheat pennies entered a hard, unforgiving life the moment they were born. The Lincoln wheat design. Detail that disappears fast. The wheat penny design looks strong, but it's deceptive. Obverse, front. Lincoln's portrait. Fine hair strands. High cheekbone. Narrow jawline.
Date, 1919.
These raised features wear quickly. Reverse, back. 2 wheat stalks. Thin internal lines. 1 cent and United States of America. Even light use smooths the wheat lines. Collectors don't just look for age. They look for survival of detail. Why collectors respect the 1919? The 1919 wheat penny isn't famous for extreme rarity. It's respected for context and condition. Collectors value it because it's a post-World War I issue. Most examples were heavily circulated. Original surfaces are scarce. High-grade survivors are genuinely difficult. It completes early wheat penny sets. It represents a turning point in American history. The survival problem. Here's the truth most people miss. 1919 wheat pennies were not saved. They were spent daily, stored loosely, exposed to moisture and dirt, cleaned decades later. By the time people began collecting seriously, most examples were already worn smooth or damaged. That's why condition matters more than date alone. What serious collectors examine. When collectors evaluate a 1919 wheat penny, they focus on sharpness of Lincoln's hair and cheek, strength and clarity of the date, smooth natural copper color, clear wheat stalk lines, absence of cleaning marks, no scratches or corrosion. One untouched surface can multiply value. One cleaning can destroy it. Market value, realistic collector numbers. Now let's talk money. 1919 wheat penny, approximate values. Good, G4. 0.25, 0.50. Fine, F12. $2.4. Very fine, VF20. 10.25. Extremely fine, XF40. 60, 120. About uncirculated, AU. $250, $500. Mint state, MS63. When $200, $2,500. High mint state, MS65 plus. $6,000, 12,000 plus, MS67 plus RD, $10,000, 50,000 plus, top examples higher. Record 400 at 12,500 for MS69 RD in past auctions, extreme outlier. Exceptional examples with full red color and original surfaces can exceed these ranges when collectors compete. From 1 cent to 5 figures. Why values keep climbing? Several forces push the 1919 wheat penny upward. Increased interest in World War I era coins, registry set competition, shrinking supply of untouched examples, growing appreciation for copper coins, historical importance of post-war issues. Collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying moments in time, common mistakes that ruin value. Many valuable 1919 pennies were destroyed unintentionally. The biggest mistakes: cleaning with chemicals, polishing to make it shine, scrubbing dirt, improper plastic storage, touching surfaces with bare hands. Collectors want originality, not brightness. A dull original coin beats a shiny damaged one every time. Where these pennies still appear. Even today, 1919 wheat pennies turn up in old family collections, estate sales, antique shops, inherited coin albums, forgotten drawers and jars. Most people don't look twice. Collectors always do. Why this coin matters. The 1919 wheat penny represents a nation rebuilding, life after global conflict, everyday economic survival, the quiet resilience of ordinary people. It carries meaning far beyond its size. The 1919 wheat penny doesn't demand attention. It reflects. It reflects a moment when the world paused, looked forward, and tried to move on. Most of these pennies were worn into history, but the few that survived untouched now carry value far beyond 1 cent. So the next time you see a wheat penny dated 1919, take a moment, because sometimes the most important coins are born not in chaos, but in the quiet that follows. Coin number 2, 1915 D wheat penny, a quiet Denver coin that became a serious collector prize. Some coins arrive loudly. They're announced, celebrated, and remembered from the moment they are born. Others slip into history unnoticed. The 1915 D wheat penny belongs to the second category. It didn't come with headlines. It wasn't saved in rolls. It wasn't protected. It entered circulation quietly, worked hard, and disappeared into pockets, cash drawers, and history. Today, collectors understand something most people still don't. This modest penny from the Denver Mint represents early scarcity, heavy circulation, and survival against the odds. This isn't just a 1 cent coin. It's a pre-war American survivor. America in 1915, a nation on the edge. The year was 1915. The world was already at war. But the United States had not yet entered World War I. Industries were growing. Cities were expanding. Money moved constantly. Pennies mattered. They were used for newspapers, streetcars, food counters, daily wages and change. Coins were not collectibles. They were tools. No one imagined that a penny used in 1915 could someday be worth thousands of dollars. The Denver Mint in its early years. By 1915, the Denver Mint was still relatively young. Compared to Philadelphia, Denver struck fewer coins, served regional economies, released coins directly into heavy circulation. There was no concept of saving mint state examples. Every coin struck was meant to be spent. That reality alone explains why early Denver wheat pennies are so difficult to find in high condition today. The Lincoln wheat penny design, beautiful but unforgiving. The Lincoln wheat penny design had been introduced just a few years earlier. In 1909, it was elegant but fragile. Obverse, front, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, fine hair strands, high cheekbone and jawline. Clear date 1915, small D mint mark beneath the date. These raised details wear quickly. Reverse, back, 2 wheat stalks, thin interior lines, 1 cent and United States of America. Even light circulation can flatten the wheat lines. That's why sharp detail, collector money. Why collectors target the 1915 D? Collectors don't chase the 1915 D because it's flashy. They chase it because it's an early Denver issue. High-grade survivors are genuinely scarce. Most examples were heavily circulated. Original surfaces are difficult to find. It's important for early wheat penny sets. It's not a coin that screams value. It whispers it. The survival reality. Millions of pennies were struck in 1915. But here's the truth collectors understand. Most 1915 D wheat pennies did not survive in collectible condition. They were spent daily in working communities, exposed to dirt, sweat, and moisture, stored loosely in jars and pockets, cleaned decades later by owners. By the time coin collecting became widespread, Most examples were already damaged beyond premium value. What serious collectors examine. When evaluating a 1915 D wheat penny, collectors focus on clarity and position of the D mint mark, sharpness of Lincoln's hair and jawline, strength of the date, visibility of wheat stalk lines, natural copper color, red or red-brown, absence of harsh cleaning. Even one original surface feature can dramatically increase value. Market value, realistic collector numbers. Now let's talk numbers. 1915 D wheat penny approximate values. Good, G4. Pandosu, fine, F12. 510, very fine, VF20. 25, $50. Extremely fine, XF40. 120, 250. About uncirculated, AU. $600, 1,200. Mint state, MS63. $2,500, $5,000. High mint state, MS65 plus. $12,000, 25,000 plus. Exceptional examples with original red color have achieved even stronger prices at auction, all from a coin that once bought a loaf of bread. Why demand continues to grow? Several forces drive demand for the 1915 D. Early Denver wheat pennies are increasingly scarce. Registry set competition among collectors. Growing interest in pre-World War I coins. No new examples will ever exist. Strong demand for original copper coins. Supply shrinks every year. Demand does not. Common mistakes that destroy value. Many valuable 1915 D pennies were ruined unintentionally. The biggest mistakes include cleaning with chemicals, polishing for shine, scrubbing dirt, improper storage, touching surfaces with bare fingers. Collectors value originality over brightness. A naturally toned coin is far more valuable than a shiny, damaged one. Where these pennies still appear. Even today, 1915 D wheat pennies surface in old family collections, estate sales, antique shops, forgotten coin albums, inherited boxes and jars. Most people don't notice the small mint mark. Collectors do. Why this coin matters beyond money. The 1915 D wheat penny represents early Denver mint history, American industry before global war, everyday life in a changing nation, survival through constant use. Collectors don't just buy coins. They buy time preserved in metal. The 1915 D wheat penny never tried to be rare. It became rare because it lived a hard life. Most were spent. Most were worn smooth. Most were forgotten. But the survivors? They quietly became 4- and 5-figure collectibles. So the next time you see an old penny dated 1915 with a small D beneath the date, stop. Because history doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it waits patiently. Inside a single cent. Coin number 3. 1936 D Lincoln wheat penny. A Depression-era coin that slipped through time. Some fortunes are loud. They announce themselves with gold, mansions, and roaring engines. But others stay quiet for decades, hidden in pockets, lost in drawers, ignored in jars filled with loose change. The 1936 D wheat penny belongs to that second category. It does not scream wealth. It whispers it. Born in the shadow of the Great Depression, this coin traveled through one of the hardest economic periods in American history, unnoticed, undervalued, yet stubbornly surviving. And today, that same penny can quietly unlock serious money for those who understand what they're holding. America in 1936, a nation still struggling. The year 1936 was not a time of comfort. The Great Depression had crushed savings. Jobs were unstable. Families counted pennies. Literally, 1 cent could buy bread. 1 cent could matter. Coins were not collectibles. They were lifelines. Every penny worked hard, especially those struck in Denver, far from the financial centers of the East. The Denver Mint, why D matters. The small D mint mark under the date tells a powerful story. Denver coins were struck for heavy circulation, used in mining towns and farming regions, exposed to rough handling, rarely saved. Collectors today understand this truth. Denver Mint wheat pennies survive in lower quality than Philadelphia issues. That's what makes high-grade 1936 D pennies special. Mass production, minimal care. By 1936, the U.S. Mint had one priority: keep coins flowing. Dies were overused. Strikes were weaker. Details were often shallow. Speed mattered more than perfection. The result? Millions of pennies entered circulation with imperfect strikes, and most were worn down fast. Design that hides rarity. At first glance, the 1936 D wheat penny looks ordinary. That's its camouflage. Obverse details: Lincoln's portrait, fine hair waves, sharp jawline, small 1936 date, tiny D mint mark, reverse details, thin wheat stalk lines, subtle grain texture, clean lettering, Those delicate details disappear quickly under circulation. That's why collectors hunt for strength, not shine. Why collectors want this coin? The 1936D Wheat Penny is not about hype. It's about difficulty. Collectors love it because it's a Depression-era Denver issue. Most examples are weakly struck. Fully detailed coins are scarce. Red copper color rarely survives. It's essential for Wheat Penny sets. This coin tests patience and rewards knowledge. Condition is everything. Here's the reality. 99% of surviving 1936D pennies are worn. Collectors pay premiums for full hair detail, clear cheekbone and jaw, strong wheat lines, original copper surfaces, no cleaning or polishing. A small improvement in grade can mean a huge jump in value. Value breakdown, realistic market numbers. Let's talk real money. 1936D Wheat Penny values. Good, G4. 0.25, 0.75. Fine, F12. 2.5. Very fine, VF20. 10, 30 DAO. Extremely fine, XF40. $80, 150. About uncirculated, AU. $300, $600. Mint state, MS63. $1,800, $3,000. High mint state, MS65 red. $7,000, $15,000 plus. Coins with full red luster and strong strikes often spark bidding wars. Why prices keep rising? The market pressure comes from multiple angles. Registry set competition, declining supply of high-grade Denver coins, growing interest in Depression-era history, increased demand for copper coins, long-term collector confidence. This isn't speculation, it's scarcity. The biggest value killers. Many potential fortunes were ruined by mistakes. Cleaning with lemon or chemicals, polishing for shine, scraping dirt aggressively, storing in PVC plastic, finger oils damaging surfaces. Collectors want original skin, not brightness. A naturally aged coin beats a cleaned one every time. Where these coins still hide, you might still find a 1936D Wheat Penny in old farm family collections, estate sales, vintage coin folders, forgotten jars, antique shop boxes. Most people see copper. Collectors see history and money. The emotional weight of this coin. This penny lived through breadlines, dust storms, economic fear, quiet hope. It passed from hand to hand while families struggled to survive. That history matters. Collectors don't just buy coins. They buy stories that survived hardship. What makes a top-tier example? The best 1936D pennies share these traits. Sharp Lincoln hair, bold wheat lines, even red or red-brown color, clean, untouched surfaces, strong Denver strike. Only a tiny fraction meet this standard. The 1936D Wheat Penny is proof that wealth doesn't always glitter. Sometimes it waits quietly, hidden in plain sight. Forged in a time of struggle, spent without mercy, and ignored for decades. This penny now stands as a reward for those who look closer. So the next time you hold a 1936D Wheat Penny, remember, luxury isn't always loud. Sometimes it's copper, sometimes it's history, and sometimes it's a fortune hiding in your palm. Coin number 4, 1938 Lincoln Wheat Penny. The final whisper before an era ended forever. The 1938 Wheat Penny is not just another old coin. It is a farewell, a final chapter, the last breath of a design that had served America for nearly 30 years. And sometimes the last chapter is the most valuable of all. 1938, when everything was about to change. The year 1938 carried a strange feeling. America was slowly recovering from the Great Depression. Factories were waking up, jobs were returning. But something darker was forming overseas. World War II was approaching. People didn't know it yet. But 1938 would be the final, full year of peace before the world. Changed forever. And quietly, without announcements, the Wheat Penny era was coming to an end. The last true Wheat Penny. In 1938, the US Mint made a decision. This would be the final year of the Lincoln Wheat Reverse. After this, no more wheat stalks, no more simple farm symbolism, no more classic American copper storytelling. 1939 would bring the Lincoln Memorial design. That makes the 1938 Wheat Penny the last of its kind, the closing signature of a generation. A historic final issue. Collectors love firsts, but they obsess over lasts. Minted at a critical moment. The 1938 Wheat Penny was struck at Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, D. San Francisco, S. Each version tells a different story, but all share one thing. They were not saved as collectibles. People spent them. Banks circulated them heavily. Nobody thought, this is the last one. That mistake created today's rarity. A coin that hid in plain sight. At first glance, the 1938 Wheat Penny looks simple. That simplicity is its trap. Obverse, front, calm Lincoln portrait, mature engraving, clean date placement, reverse, back, wheat stalks thinner than earlier years. Lighter strike in many examples, fine grain details easily lost. Most coins lost their beauty fast. Only a tiny percentage survived untouched. Why collectors respect this coin? This coin doesn't rely on errors or gimmicks. Its power comes from historical finality. Collectors want it because it's the last wheat penny year. It completes wheat penny sets. High-grade examples are scarce. Red copper color rarely survives. Demand is global. The moment a collector builds a serious set, 1938 becomes mandatory. Condition makes or breaks fortunes. Here's where things get serious. Most 1938 pennies are brown, worn, weakly struck. But collectors pay extreme premiums for coins with full wheat lines, strong lettering, clean fields, original luster, no cleaning. A small detail difference can mean thousands of dollars. Value breakdown, real market power. Let's talk numbers. 1938 wheat penny values. Good, G4. 010, 050. Fine, F12. $1.03. Very fine, VF20. 5/15. Extremely fine, XF40. 30, $80. About uncirculated, AU. 150, 400. Mint state, MS63. $1,200, $2,500. High mint state, MS66 red. $8,000, 18,000 plums. Certain Denver and San Francisco strikes have sold even higher. Why values keep climbing? Several forces push this coin upward. End of era appeal. Registry competition. Shrinking supply of red examples. Strong copper demand. Historical importance. This is not hype. This is structural scarcity. Common mistakes that destroy value. Many owners unknowingly killed their coin's future. Polishing for shine. Cleaning with chemicals. Rubbing dirt aggressively. Storing in soft plastic. Handling with bare fingers. Collectors want honest age, not artificial beauty. A naturally toned coin can be worth 10x more than a cleaned one. Where 1938, wheat pennies still sleep. Even today, these coins are found in old coin folders, estate boxes, family inheritance jars, antique shops, forgotten bankrolls. Most people don't realize they're holding the last wheat whisper of American coinage. The emotional side of this penny. This coin witnessed recovery from collapse, calm before war, end of rural symbolism, start of a modern America. Collectors connect emotionally with endings, because endings mean final chances, missed opportunities, last doors before history closes. What a top tier 1938 wheat penny looks like. Elite examples show sharp Lincoln profile, crisp wheat stalk lines, full original red luster, clean untouched surfaces, balanced strike. These coins are rare survivors, not common finds. Why this coin feels different? Earlier wheat pennies tell stories of struggle. Later memorial cents tell stories of modern America. But 1938 stands alone. It is the bridge, the moment before the door shut forever. Final thought. The 1938 wheat penny is not loud wealth. It is quiet closure, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable opportunities appear right before something ends. So if you ever find a 1938 wheat penny, don't rush, don't clean, don't underestimate, because the last chapter often carries the greatest reward.